All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So today we will be looking at the wheat sector. You know, it's funny, we were bullish overall and some did really well. We'll get to them shortly. Others, like TLRY, you see here, they did okay, but clearly not the expectations we were hoping for. So we'll go over all that shortly. What are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We're going to look at the daily and the weekly to see what's setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages, these horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself, excuse me. And then when we're done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Really quickly, if you could please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. It does really well with the YouTube machine, and either way, I do sincerely appreciate your time and thank you for being here. So let's get to it. Look, TLRY's obviously been, a little more horizontal than we wanted. There were so many stocks, and we'll get to them. All this red quickly turned to green, right? The real issue here is just all 5 of the moving averages are really tight. And it goes back to what I say, right? 80% of the work really is up here. And if you can find good spaced out moving averages, it obviously, if you can be above all of them, that's even better. But yeah, when you're in them, the spacing definitely matters. And honestly, these 2 lines right here, the 50 and the 100, really hindered this because look, there was a decent fill all the way up to here, right? But we actually never even tested the 100, okay? I'm glad that the 20s, it did definitely bounce right here, right? It could have gotten a lot worse, but it does look like it bounced. Today just really didn't get us over the 8 like we wanted, right? Couldn't even get over this horizontal line right here. So, a little disappointing. There's really not too much more to say here. And look, at this point, I really don't think there's much. What's over this? I mean, yeah, see, even if I say wait to get over this, the problem is you have 2 lines right here, right? And even if you break this, you have this one right up here, right? There's maybe 10% in that right there. But again, I guess that would still be the best move. So, I mean, look, the safest entry is wait for the 50, so 341, and then ride that hopefully to here, because actually between these two there's still a decent amount of red. So yeah, it's a little difficult to know what's going to happen here because again, it's hard to break one line, let alone 2 right next to each other, right? And after breaking 2 right next to each other, you can imagine how tired it's going to be before it gets to that 3rd one, right? So just kind of keep all that in mind, right? But this 10% window seems a little safer than trying to battle in here. But yeah, nonetheless, and I'm telling you, we're going to see it on a couple other ones. This string of red, it's really sad that we didn't get up to here, honestly. So this is the moment where it needed a gap up over this, and it couldn't. It went horizontal, obviously down. And yeah, it's really all going to matter when we get over those 2. So a little less definitive than I like to give, but look, at the same time, we're actually in a cluster of moving averages, right? All 5 lines right in between each other. We're actually on the lower half, right? Like we're definitely down here, not up here, right? So in a lot of ways, this is a horizontal cluster of all 5. And I hate trading in these things, it's hard to tell what's going to happen, but a lot less definitive than I like. And I'm sorry about that, right? So look, it's roughly early in the week, right? And there was reason to believe that we were going to break the 8 moving average. We are actually technically over the 8, right? Yeah, the 8's at 6 cents and we're at 310 right there. Obviously, I wish we did a full candle up here instead of that wick down, right? But let's see what the next 2 days kind of do for us. Next 3 days, actually. Sorry, it's still early in the week. But yeah, I mean, I wanted a nicer break of the 8 on the weekly. And one more time, you're going to have great dailies when your weekly looks good, right? So getting over the 8 does really matter, right? And again, just back to what we were saying, this red on the weekly, especially because there was all this green right behind it, right? These almost mirrored each other. This should have been a little easier to fill, but yeah, if you're under the 8, it's going to make it that much harder, right? So TLRY, overall, look, I mean, we're obviously under the 8, so that's not good, right? Rule number 1 is get over the 8. I'm glad we're at least over the 20, but yeah, one more time, nothing really matters till we at least get over this. And in all honesty, nothing really will matter until we crack this 200. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, not too definitive here. But again, there will be others that looked a lot better. So look, ACB. Now it's funny because this one kind of has that same TLRY setup, right? Where's the 200 at? Oh, the 200 is actually a lot higher up. So look, there was a bunch of reds here. Obviously, a couple more greens, but you know, for the most part, you see all these reds right here. When this happened, it really did seem like it would at least come up here, right? But yeah, I think just like I said, the market didn't do too well in that like middle of the week. This one actually kind of sucked in the early days too when the market was doing okay. But that Wednesday, Thursday kind of did hurt all the stocks. But look, I would say this is the line that's still going to matter, right? If you can break 102, maybe we even lift it a little more to take it to 103. Yeah, let me take it to 103. Take it to the top of that guy. If you can get to the top of 103, hopefully from there you'll ride on up to 112. That's a little bit less than 10%, but that's not too bad right there. And look, from here to here you at least have these, and it stops there. Yeah, so it seems like you would at least run to there. But again, I think kind of the same thing with TLRY. If you can get over the 100, hopefully there'd be a nicer ride to the 200, right? It's not quite a horizontal cluster. I'm by no means going to say that, but yeah, I also do like that the 8's moving up a little bit here. Overall, look, I'm not going to lie to you. These last two are just a little disappointing. There's really not much more to say there, right? Yeah, it's at the minimum, I'm going to say, look, we're at least over the 8. We've been able to bounce on the 8 as well, just couldn't quite go over it. Maybe we're going to come back down to the 20 here. Hopefully, we just open strongly and go back up and cross this 103 in all honesty. But yeah, I'm starting to lose a little bit of feeling based on these first two, that's for sure. So OGI, we were expecting, and this one did a little bit better actually. So this, again, a bunch of red in a row. The expectation really would have been it would have bunched up green in a row. And look, you can see in a few days, this thing took about a little more than 75% of the reds, right? It came to this, literally, right? So OGI actually did okay as we expected it to. Again, though, you can see it. If you're going to break two lines on a single day, I need good confirmation, and that's definitely not what this was, right? We at least were able to bounce on the 8, which is a beautiful thing. Again, that's literally the 8 doing its job, right? We are over all of them, so hey, I mean, this is still technically a bullish thing right here. Hopefully we can bounce on the 8 one more time and make our way up to this. But yeah, this at least did a little better, fulfilling the red into green that we like to see. Yeah, but again, it just, I would put a line right here. Again, getting over 99, breaking into the dollar is really going to help get to this. It's only a 5% move, but that's the expectation. Otherwise, I would hate to lose this right here, right? I would hate to hit 92 cents, because from there it seems like we'll probably come down to one of these two, which are pretty much right on each other, right? So, but hey, this was at least a decent run on OGI. HEXO is next, and that is going to be the better one, but let's just real quickly look at OGI. Look, again, if you're going to break two moving averages on a weekly chart, I need good confirmation. This isn't bad. We at least stay over both lines. We're at least well over 50%. But generally, when I say wait for good confirmation, I want a good green candle, right? I want just more greens. That's the goal, right? Happy that we're still over the 20 and over the 8, but look, we're well below where this one closed. Actually, we're almost on line to it. I won't say well below. We're definitely well below this though, right? I by Friday, we better get back to 99 cents or break it. Otherwise, you know, it seems like this break of the two lines just wasn't that real. And look, there was a hit here, there was a hit here, there was a hit here. We still haven't had a couple good weeks in a row breaking this 20 yet. So, you know, there's a little bit to be understood, right? Like literally no green candles on the weekly has happened yet, right? So just, you know, keep that in mind, I'd say. But yeah, I guess this was a little bit better of a fill on that series of reds. Hexo. So look, again, this one was the best chart on the last video, and this one definitely showed why it was, right? This literally is a straight string of reds with not even a single green in the middle, and this had a much nicer like separation between the moving averages, right? And look, this thing literally filled roughly 75% as well, actually. I think almost as much as OGI did. This one just kind of did it a little quicker and easier, in all honesty. So yeah, Hexo, again, doing its job, right? This actually, oh man, RSI is just a little high, but honestly, this might continue tomorrow to the 100, right? Because I love the volume today. I'm glad that it did way better than the last couple days. Obviously, it didn't come anywhere near this, right? But I do like this volume right there. I actually really do. And we at least tried to mess with the 50. Maybe you can do a good shoot over and actually break it, right? So not too bad here. And obviously a very good run, right? So you got to love the movement here. And hey, this actually is over the 8 so far. And I'm doing well over the 8. And still enough red right here to believe we might be coming to 209 roughly. And does that take us? Yeah, 220. Yeah. Again, I think there's reason to believe, like I said, we might even just test the 100. I don't know if we'll break it, but hey, we might test it, right? So not too shabby actually here on Hexo. CGC. Okay, look, CGC I think is a lot like TLRY in the front, right? A whole mess of reds that just didn't fill. It went way more horizontal than ideal, right? Again, just disappointing, but hey, I mean, it's still technically bullish. It's just disappointing. I don't know what else to say, right? You do have all 5 moving averages right here. This is going to be a real hard one, right? Especially since it's so tight. But yeah, I mean, I'm really disappointed this couldn't red, right? And yeah, we're even over this one, right? This is where it should really even go. But yeah, look, honestly, at 305, it should do a lot better. Should at least be an easier ride to 360, and that right there is about 20%. So excuse me, man, just really disappointing. I mean, there's not too much more to say. And look, the market, there have been stocks that have been doing well. Obviously, the beginning of January is a little bit better than the end of January, but yeah, it's sad that the follow through kind of ended, right? And look, it's only the first week over the 8. 8 actually still looks like it's going down, right? It's not quite doing the upward curve that we want, so not quite a beautiful weekly, and it speaks to why the dailies haven't been able to take off. But yeah, it's just disappointing, right? I mean, it is what it is. So CRON, CRON. Oh man, that is actually okay. So first and foremost, if you watched my videos before, you know I like CGC and CRON to kind of look the same. Historically, they have, and it's done me well looking at the two of them and trying to use the cues from one to make a decision on the other, right? And it's real weird how different these two look. This one's at least trying to move a little bit up. This one's been over the 8, been over the 20. Both the 8 and the 20 are actually kind of starting to curve upward as well. And then CRON just looks horrible. This thing definitely fell out of the moving clusters and just hasn't been able to recover. Man, is this thing near all-time lows? Is that what's happening? It's actually not. I'm actually real surprised, but look, this has definitely been the worst weekly out of anything that we've seen so far, right? All the other ones are at least trying to get closer to or get over the 8, right? But this just goes to show you when the weekly is real bad, there is very little you can expect from the daily. But what's actually surprising me more is how different CRON looks from CGC. I literally can't stop talking about that, as you see. So, and yeah, looked like we were going to break that 20 and make its way, but a horrible follow through today. So real interesting on that deviation with CRON and CGC actually. Okay, SNDL, Sandal. Okay, look, Sandal, another one, right? nice, beautiful string of reds. Not quite that beautiful. It's just so elongated, right? And one more time, we see it, that 50 and the 100, right? It's hard to break one line. It's that much harder to break two. It's probably even more. It's not quite like a one more line makes it double hard. It actually might be 3 or 4 times. I don't know the math behind it at all, right? But yeah, when there's multiple, it's just that much harder. And unfortunately, there's actually a man. It's gotta wait for this. There's nothing more I could say. It's really disappointing, right? I mean, you can hear it in my voice, right? And there's not even great technical analysis I can say, right? Because look, get over this and do well, go under this and do poorly, right? And it's literally been the same reading for more than half of these, right? So at this point, it's going horizontal until something happens. Either news comes. I'll be honest, I haven't really been watching any of these earnings. I don't know if earnings in general haven't been as good or whatever. Clearly, there's no like legal federal kind of news or buzz in the air either. That sucks a little bit, right? That's been doing really well to propel things. So it's disappointing how horizontal things are trading. There's really no other way to sum up this video. So I'll look at the weekly real quick, but I imagine it's going to look, yeah, like the other ones that we've seen, right? There have been real nice uptrends trying to get towards the 8. Some of them are a little bit over the 8 for the first time in a while, but again, no one's really been well over the 8, maybe even well over the 20 on the weekly to just sincerely believe good, safer trading, right? And I know safer trading is kind of an oxymoron. There is no safe trading, right? But yeah, none of these have been fully bullish. There have simply been some good rides that were at least there. And man, there were so many setups that failed. And that more than anything is so disappointing. But I think it goes back to how good the beginning of the month was and then how shaky this thing is ending a little bit, you know? So yeah, again, it's I keep saying the word disappointing because there's really oh man, MSOS looking horrible. Okay, so again, right, this line right here, this was that magic line because this right here is a beautiful break of the 2 moving averages. It actually opens up here, right? So it opens like a gap up and then just horribly, obviously you see it closes under the 8 and then from there it gets worse. But man, it never got over this line, and really all the horizontal trading from the other ones just, you know, this thing was on a hard downtrend. So the goal was that the other ones would do well and pull it up, but it went horizontal for far too long and it was unable to get the moving averages, right? So now it needs to get over this and this really for me to feel comfortable. But hey, look, we've made a nice little string of reds. Maybe we can get a good little string of greens back up here, right? But I definitely would not, yeah, this one's maybe the worst one so far, this one in CRON, but yeah, I would definitely be staying away from here, which is sad. And what really makes it even worse, this actually isn't the last one on the video, but maybe it's a good way to end the video. It kind of makes me worried for the rest of them, right? Because again, this is supposed to be accumulation of the main multi-state operators, right? So the fact that the ETF just kind of says the whole summation isn't doing well kind of makes you feel a little shaky on the sector itself, right? But yeah, there was just so much bullishness going into last week and this week, right? And the fact that last week didn't perform suck, but last week ended so well that there was actually hope for this week, right? So still a little early, but I think the fact that we're almost halfway with this week and it hasn't just delivered is just, oh man, right? So, and look, again, a really bad weekly. And when the weeklies are bad, the dailies are going to be bad, right? So just, yeah, not a lot of good to talk about just really on this whole thing, which sucks. High tide looks a little interesting, actually. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go ahead and set an alert above the 50. You can see that I'm doing it at 159, right? What is the 50 at? Yeah, 158, so that penny over would put me over it, right? But yeah, if we can get right here, you can already see it right there, right? There's a good series of reds, and actually there's a real nice gap between the next moving average. So 160 to 190 could actually be a realistic target there. This one actually might be one of the better ones that we've seen on this thing, kind of into what might play out well. And hey, look, this actually is not a great weekly, but much better than a lot of them we've seen, right? So this thing was well over the 8, right? Definitely comes down under it, but it's really just able to hold the 20, which is awesome. And again, still early in, but look, we're actually over both lines right now. If next week's confirmation is good confirmation, it would fill that series of reds that we were talking about, right? So yeah, I got that alert. If it hits 160, 159, high tie actually might end up being the best one out of this video. So I'm actually running out of time. I've got something to do in a few minutes. Let me just see if I can fly through these last one. So True Leaf, Canadian, horrible, right? You can clearly see it. Hopefully we'll be able to turn that string of red into green, but yeah, well under the 8, well under the 20. Yeah, 718 is definitely going to be the number. I'm not going to look at the weeklies. Cure Leaf. Again, I guess I would say a little better than True Leaf, but you can kind of see it looks like it wants to do that same drop off. Look, if it could get over the 20, beautiful trading all the way up to there, right? Not an extreme red, but yeah, it's there enough, right? But yeah, as long as we're under these two lines, there's a lot of reason to not feel comfortable here. I'm not going to look at the weekly. Green lane. Okay, look at this thing, right? Series of reds came all the way to the 50 as expected. I actually said, I think it was on StockTwits or Twitter, I don't remember, but I did not think we were going to break the 50, and clearly that was right. But look, that RSI just got so high, right? So, I mean, it really wasn't rocket science to know that we were not clearing that 50. Nonetheless, a very beautiful run. If we lose this, we're probably going to come down to the 20, okay? So 36 cents might be realistic if tomorrow's bad. Just don't lose 36 cents because I'm okay doing this, bouncing off the 8, and then maybe taking another attempt at the 50, right? Because that'll help reset this RSI. Hopefully we can break the 50, get to this. And again, that is a sexy gap fill of 50% from 50 to $1, right? So yeah, green lane doing its thing. I'll quickly look at the weekly real quick. Look, we are over the 8, okay? Things will look a lot better at 47 cents, okay? But yeah, we're actually over it. So just this one wants to do well. Again, I just feel bad that the rest of the sector just didn't look good. But yeah, green lane's actually been doing all right. UGRO. Again, moving average cluster, get over this. I'll go ahead and set an alert right there. 382. Let's see what that does. Look, I'm not going to look at the weekly. I've really only got a couple minutes left. GRWG. Man, too tight. Way too many moving averages for me to feel comfortable. Definitely a beautiful series of red that, oh my gosh, it goes all the way to 8. Jesus Christ. I'm going to wait for this to break. Maybe, you know what? I'm going to set my first alert, but that's so close to that. Okay, I'm going to create that one right there, and I'm going to create that one right there. I'll be honest, waiting for this is going to be a lot better, especially knowing it goes from that all the way to roughly 8, right? So there's still a nice profit if you wait till 5, okay? So don't get greedy here. But way too many moving averages for me to feel comfortable. Maybe if it breaks that 200, I'll feel a little comfortable. Maybe you can get in at 493. I'll go ahead and make one more at 493. Okay, cool. And then last on the list, HYFM. Oh, this one looks interesting. Okay. Hey, if this thing opens over this, I'd like to know. If this thing hits 181, 181 could be interesting. Obviously, there are 2 moving averages there, but there might be enough distance between those to not be a super tight one. So, and enough red here to make me at least curious. Yeah, you might hit 262 there. So, 225, 26. So, all right, that's all I got. I got to hit stop. Hey, I hope you're learning.